the evidences that prove music is forbidden in Islam. This video isn't meant to make anyone feel ashamed, especially not our young people. But while this issue is a very high concern and emotion to people, I find the evidences pertaining to it are often unknown. Allah says in the Quran that there will be a humiliating punishment for those who purchase lahwal hadith, or amusing speech. It may not say music directly, but Abdullah ibn Abbas, the Prophet's cousin and companion, and the person for whom the Prophet made a special dua to Allah that he would learn the proper interpretation of the Quran, he said specifically about these words in this verse that they mean singing and things like it. The Prophet ﷺ himself said, "From among my followers there will be some people who will consider illegal sexual intercourse, the wearing of silk, the drinking of alcoholic drinks, and the use of musical instruments as lawful. Allah will destroy them, and He will transform the rest of them into monkeys and pigs." This is an authentic hadith, and it specifies the humiliating punishment that is referred to in the verse. Also recorded in the famous tafsir of Ibn Kathir and at-Tabari, the Prophet's close companion, Ibn Mas'ud, who was the first companion to recite the Quran to the Prophet's tribe, he swore by Allah that this verse refers to singing. And the Prophet's other companion, Qatada, commented about this verse, "By Allah, he may not spend money on it, but his purchasing it means he likes it. And the more misguided he is, the more he likes it." Also in the tafsir of Ibn Kathir, explaining the verse from Surah Al-Ma'idah that prohibits the use of gambling and intoxicants, we find from the Prophet's companion, Abdullah ibn Amr, who was one of the first to write down a book of hadith of the Prophet. He said about this verse, "Allah has sent down the truth to eradicate falsehood, wind instruments, dances, cabarets that use lutes and bagpipes, tambourine, guitar, harp and lyric, and love poetry." Now people's minds always want to ask, are there exceptions? There's evidence for very limited and constrained exceptions that inshallah I will do another video on. But more important to acknowledge is that our minds go to that question because the reality is that these evidences can hit pretty hard for some people. And personally, I empathize with that. I went through a long period in life where I was heavily invested and attached to music. And when someone is in that situation, especially a young person, the idea of leaving it can feel depressing and very difficult. Inshallah, I'll talk more about that for those of you who can benefit. But once we get past that and we take a step back and look at these teachings of Islam, they should actually be something that we should be amazed by and that should increase our faith. The direct association that is drawn between music and illicit sex and the use of intoxicants and wasteful behavior in general. It's really quite amazing to see those teachings of the Prophet ﷺ and reflect on what we see in the world today, 1400 years after those teachings were recorded. It shows us that there's a universality to the human experience across space and time, and there's a wisdom and application to the teachings of Islam and the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ that also stretch across space and time.